to help prevent those traffic nightmares.
Plus, lost then found at Salt Lake International, and we are not talking luggage here. The tiny treasure finally turning up, all thanks to the help of a stranger.
I'm Lauren Steinbrecher. Coming up.
Salt Lake City woman is thanking who she calls a perfect stranger for finding and returning her lost wedding ring at Salt Lake International.
News specialist Shelby Lofton tells us how the value item went missing and where exactly it turned up. Shelby?
This Utah woman made it past security and to her gate with no issues, but she left something valuable behind before she boarded her plane. Valerie Cameron got on a plane headed to a convention in California. The newlywed has only had her wedding ring for a couple of years. She, her husband, and daughter designed it together. The emerald-cut cognac sapphire ring is one of her most prized possessions. She says she wore it to the airport but took it off to put on lotion, something she never does. Then she took a phone call. Next thing she knew, her plane was boarding. She got in line, but her ring didn't go with her. She didn't realize she had left it behind at the gate until she got to L.A. Cameron called a friend who works at the Salt Lake airport. They sent people searching for the ring, but they couldn't find it anywhere. Several days later, it showed up in the lost and found overnight.
Somebody took the time to pick it up off the floor, which I'm sure it was just under the chair that I was sitting on, and they took the time to turn it in somewhere. But they didn't have to. They could have left it there. They could have taken it for themselves. It's a pretty ring.
The ring turned up almost a week after Cameron had lost it. She says this whole experience has been very meaningful to her. For Live at 5, I'm Shelby Lofton.
Thank you. Well, the morning commute
took quick action to get rid of it.
And I just did something out of my ordinary step and lost a big thing.
And one honest person is being called a perfect stranger. Only on KSL, how one woman was able to get back her lost wedding ring.
KSL News at 6.
Financially.
Newlywed is thanking a total stranger for turning in a valuable piece of jewelry that she lost at Salt Lake International.
News specialist Shelby Lofton tells us how the Utah woman got it back after she'd almost given up hope.
Valerie Cameron flies out of the airport often. She knows what to bring on her work trips and how to pack it, but she didn't expect to lose something that she wears every single day. Valerie Cameron travels for work.
Over 22 cities this year.
She has her system down to a science, but she found herself distracted when she had some extra time on her hands during her last business trip.
I just started fiddling.
She decided to put on lotion.
I just watched this video on social media that tells you about all the grime that we get in our wedding rings.
And did something she's never done in the airport before, take off her wedding ring.
Then my phone rang and I picked it up. Then I heard that we could board and I stood up.
Hundreds of miles away in Los Angeles.
I felt that my ring wasn't there.
Cameron panicked.
I Googled the airport, called.
She made a claim and called a friend of hers who worked at Salt Lake Airport.
They did check, they didn't find it.
The newlywed hasn't had the ring long, but it's her most prized possession.
We have both been given a second chance.
She and her husband met after they had both gone through divorce. When she looks down at her ring, she's reminded of her new blended family.
We're a bunch of weirdos, but we're like our weirdos, and I love it. And my ring represents that.
Almost 1 week without a ring and no word later, she had given up hope. Until a text came through from her friend at the airport.
Somebody turned it in. She said it came in overnight, so they don't know who it was. I can't thank this person.
Cameron hopes the world bands together and follows the example they set.
Just a perfect stranger happened to be really nice that day, and I try and do that myself.
Cameron and the airport employees don't know who this Good Samaritan is. They could be from Utah or halfway across the world, but they did the right thing and reunited Cameron with her beloved wedding ring. Shelby Lofton, KSL 5 News.
Oh, great story, Shelby. Thank you. Still ahead, fun on the slopes.